Paul Manafort, President Trump's former campaign chairman, sentenced to a total of 7.5 years in prison, with credit for time he's already served on charges of fraud and obstruction of justice. A judge today tacking on more time to the relatively light sentence Manafort received last week. But today's sentence,
and overall for a 10-year maximum, a 7-year sentence, that's down the middle.
Before that decision, Manafort, seated in a wheelchair, publicly apologized for the first time, telling the judge, "I am sorry for what I've done," that he's a different person, then, noting his age, nearly 70, asking, "Please let me and my wife be together." But Judge Amy Berman Jackson not entirely sympathetic. The defendant isn't public enemy number one, but he's not a victim either, she said, adding it's hard to overstate the number of lies and the amount of fraud, and that Manafort had a chance to plea for a lighter sentence, but he squandered it.
She pointed out that this wasn't just about his own bank and tax fraud. He defrauded the American public, she said, by lying about the fact that he was lobbying for a foreign government in the United States.
Manafort's charges, stemming from special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, are not related to his work on the campaign. Judge Jackson says any talk of collusion is not relevant because it's not part of the trial. But Manafort's attorney, shouted down by protesters, today still repeating a familiar line.
There's absolutely no evidence of any Russian collusion in this case, so that makes two courts.
Today, President Trump sympathetic.
I feel badly for him. I think it's a very sad situation.
And says of a possible pardon, that's not something he's thought about.
And almost immediately after today's hearing ended, a New York district attorney announced that Manafort has been indicted on state charges that would not be eligible for a presidential pardon. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.